Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's another Tuesday Night Live, episode 103. It's crazy. So I didn't get any farther along with the welding stuff. I couldn't, kind of gave up on getting a good view of the weld puddle. Maybe we'll readdress that here in a couple weeks. I gotta figure out some better equipment or a better way of doing it or something like that. I'm also going to reach out to some other channels that have some decent, I think weld.com. I was going to reach out to them and see if they would mind if I borrowed some of their video. You got to ask permission for that stuff. You just can't use it. You get in trouble. So, but yeah, so we'll get back to that in a little while. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Bill, I saw you came on earlier, but Ryan, man, that truck is looking freaking awesome. All your hard work is going to pay off because that thing is just mind-blowing. I know you're trying to keep it semi-top secret as far as what it looks like together because for when you get it all done, but I can't wait to see it all all together in a single package. It's going to be awesome. So I was hoping to get some stuff done on the all neck this week, and was hoping to have it running, but we've had a little depression. No problem, Ryan. We've had a little depression in our area, a tropical depression, and we've been getting hammered with rain, and of course that truck is outside, so I've made multiple trips up to work on it only to get rained out, which that just blows the whole day. But hopefully tomorrow is supposed to be looking a lot better, and it seems like our new pattern is now back to normal summer type pattern where it doesn't. If it's going to rain, it's not going to rain till like around 5 o'clock. So that'll give me at least a good portion of the day it's except for a couple radiator hoses and a tune in the ECU. It's basically ready to start. So hopefully that'll happen tomorrow, and I'll get some video on that thing, and we'll be wrapping that up, getting ready to get it out to the body shop. Of course, once it goes in the body shop, we probably won't see it for 6 months to a year, so that's going to kind of suck. But at least project will be moving forward. So give you guys updates on that next week. I'll probably if it does, if I do get enough nice weather where I can get it fired up tomorrow, I'll probably put a couple shorts up on the channel too, so you can get a little sneak shot there. Smurf came back Saturday a week ago, and we got it back in the shop today. Got a lot of work to get done on that thing. It's gonna be a minute till I can get that thing ready to get to the track. But yeah, we had chassis shop built a new set of headers and moved a couple things around. So now it's going to require a bunch of replumbing. Hopefully most of the wiring is going to go back. I have to remount the coils and stuff like that. So it's going to be a minute till I get that all done and do a complete new chassis setup on it. So we'll go over some of that next week. I hopefully get some of that moving along before next Tuesday. And so while I was waiting to get the Smurf in the shop and getting rained out on the all neck, I got some work done on the Cup Car, trying to get that forward. I have had a couple of calls on it, and some people are wanting to set up appointments to come and see the car, so I needed to get all the little trinkets for road course racing. I need to get that stuff all done and caught up. So got a couple little videos to show you guys on that. They're basically going to be part of a longer form video, but you guys get, like I always say, you guys get to see the sneak preview, so to speak. You get to see stuff before anybody else does. So we'll go over that stuff. I did finally get all the material to redo the oil lines on Leo's 4200 cylinder head. So that's going to be something that I'm going to work on too, try to get that organized. I've got aluminum tubing now. We're going to go with a 25 thousandths oiler hole, but I need to. I got to set it up in the Bridgeport to where we're going to get all the squirter holes all in the same angle and the same position. I noticed on the stainless steel ones, they were kind of all over the place, and I really didn't have any way of fitting them in the Bridgeport. But I got some V blocks now for it, so we can go ahead and clamp it up, and then we'll get some nice straight cuts on that. So that'll all work out real well. We'll get that going here. Hopefully next week I can get that done. And that's pretty much it. We got the dash back in the Chevelle, so that thing's ready to start driving. However, we haven't had any nice weather, so that hasn't happened yet. But that's the next step on that thing. We'll get that thing knocked out. Definitely kind of gotten crowded here at the shop, so we got to get a couple of these jobs moving along so we can make some space and get some other stuff done. Right now with the rain and everything, the shop is so full inside. I haven't been able to work on the Buick T-Type at all, so that job has just been sitting on total hold. So got to get caught up a little bit, and we can move forward. So for you guys that have been watching the channel for a while, you know about my buddy Scott's 63 Le Mans. There's a couple videos on the channel about it. We've taken in the car to Good Guys in Columbus. We drove the Le Mans and his Vega from West Palm to Columbus and back for the Good Guys show. That was a blast. It was I think it was 2 years ago already. We've been to LS Fest with the car. It was picked one time for Holly President's pick. Well, Scott wanted to do, all of us are kind of in the same boat. We love having our high performance cars, but without any local tracks, it's hard to get the feel of the car. So since Chris, who's on the show quite often, him and I have been talking about road course racing, and of course I'm getting the NASCAR Cup Car set up for road course. That's been kind of the topic around the shop. And so Scott decided to go to a Chin event with his car. So Chin is a kind of a club sport deal. You can take your performance car or any car and go run on a road course. They run different tracks throughout the country. So he originally planned a couple months ago to run at Sebring, and then the car ended up being tied up in the body shop. And then the next one came by. He thought he would go to that one, but the car had to go back to the body shop to have some repairs done, paintwork repairs. And so the third one was coming up this last weekend, and he was able to actually make it to this one. So I helped him get seat belts in the car, regular racing harnesses, because the car doesn't have just had lap belts in it. And being that he was a novice, never been on a road course before, they gave him an instructor, and the instructor reached out to him about a week before the event. They got talking, kind of got, the instructor gave him some information about his driving experiences, and was asking what Scott was looking to get out of his experience. And, he just wants to see what his car can do. He's got 25,000 miles on that car now, going to events all over the country, but they've been highway mileage, just driving, and really has never really shook the car out as far as high-speed cornering or braking or even high-speed acceleration. So we went out last Thursday, and ran the car in a little strip in Mexico. But I was able to get up to about 110 and jumped on the brakes real hard. The car stopped in a good straight manner and very quickly. And I said, we can't test cornering ability because we have nowhere to do that. So you're just going to have to, let your instructor drive the car one time and kind of feel your way around and see how it works out. Well, that's what he did. He went up there and instructor took maybe 5 or 6 laps in the car, shook the car out, said, was showing him the line. This is where you want to brake. This is where you want to turn. And they pulled over and swapped seats, and Scott ran probably about 25 laps in the car, and he had a blast. Was surprised at how well the car worked. In fact, the instructor was surprised at how well the brakes worked and stuff like that. And he had a great time. And it just something I try to reiterate with people all the time. If you have a high performance car, you need to take it to a track and put it through its paces. Learn what the car can do and what it can't do. Obviously, drag racing is really good for straight line performance. You can do it stoplight to stoplight, but it's not the same thing as running it the whole quarter mile wide open. Running 100, 110 mile an hour, whatever your car will run. Some cars run 130, 140. You can't really do that safely on the street. So, and I don't say that anybody should be doing that. But autocross is really good for dialing your car in, learning how far you can go into a corner before braking, how hard you can get on the throttle through a corner and see if the car is going to swap ends and stuff like that. And it's just a way to build, first of all, confidence in your car. And then also, it's an engineering exercise because we build our cars. We're not OEM manufacturers. We don't have a garage or a shop, offices full of engineers and computer programs and simulation software and test tracks where we can make our car 100% before it is released to the public. We build our cars, and it's up to us to quantify them and verify that they do what they're supposed to do. Now, of course, there's some live shows or podcasts, whatever you want to call them. Earlier ones, probably around in the 70s, I think, 70 area, where we went over vehicle dynamics. There's other ones about braking and how to set up your braking and stuff like that, brake systems. So, I'm slowly but surely giving you guys the tools to where you can get your cars dialed in, and so you can have fun with them. Scott is so happy that he went and did this deal with the Le Mans, because now when he goes to a car show, everybody wants to brag about their car, but 80-90% of people at car shows, first of all, don't know how much horsepower the car makes. It's just a number that somebody's told them. And they don't drive their cars hard. They have no idea whether the car will even corner properly or brake properly in an emergency situation, typically. So that's the reason why, I'm putting this information out there so that we all can create more fun cars to drive and well-equipped and well-designed cars. It doesn't have to be right the first time, but if you can get out on the track and test the car out on an autocross or a road course or a drag strip, you might find some shortcomings, and then you know where you need to work next to get the car better. I see Cole's out. Cole's in. How you doing, Cole? So that's the whole thing. So Scott had a really good time. He's going to get some kind of sticker made for his windshield to show that he raced at Sebring, and it worked out real well for him. And I encourage him to take his other cars there, and everybody else too. I mean, there's plenty of club sport, road course clubs that you can take your street car out and run it on a road course. And they have different levels. Scott was in the novice level, They went ahead and they put some X's on the rear bumper of the car so anybody coming up behind him knows that he's a first timer. And in the novice classes, and even in the next level up, I think they have 4 levels. You have to be pointed by for passing. You just can't pass at will. So it makes it a fairly safe environment to run your car hard. Now, obviously, if you overdrive your car hard, it is a possibility you can crash it. But I mean, that's not what you want to do. You want to go out and learn. Start off slow, learn the track, learn your car, learn what the edges are. What the capabilities of your braking and your cornering and suspension and engine and transmission, all that stuff. And then from there you can find its shortcomings, fix it, and who knows, you might even find something you really like doing. I myself am huge on autocross because it's fairly low speed. You're usually go maybe about 70, 75 mile an hour. But the worst thing you can do is run over some cones. Some tracks have some walls and stuff that you may have to work around, but usually they keep everybody pretty far away from that stuff. But it's a good way to learn the dynamics of your car. When I was a kid, and my buddy Doug and I laughed about this quite often. When we were kids, you could go in a parking lot. I used to work at a Winn-Dixie when I was 16, and we'd stock the shelves until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then after we would close the store down, well, if it was a nice night out, I'd go out and do figure eights and donuts and do a Rockford turns and stuff like that. And then another night it might be raining. Well, that's great. Now you can learn what the car will do with in wet weather. And of course in Tennessee, maybe once a year you might even be able to catch up what it'll do in snow. So, but that's stuff that we did when we were kids. Especially down here in South Florida, that's not something you really can do anymore. There's really no empty areas where you can just cut loose with your car. Most parking lots, especially like in shopping centers and stuff like that, all have parking stops all over the place and a lot of lighting. And Florida is big on grass medians and vegetation, trees and bushes and stuff. So there's not like a place where you can just go and not have to worry about hitting something. So and of course it's private property. You don't want to get the cops on you. So this is a good, safe way of doing it. You have an instructor with you. They'll give you training, and it just works out really great. So again, and if that doesn't work, you can always go to a driving school. I know Bill went to Frank Hawley and learned a lot there. When I used to drive in NMCA Pro Street and NHRA Pro Mod, the car owner of that, the car owner of that race car, had a little bit of money, and he had some nice high performance cars, and really never learned how to drive them. As a kid he did, but that was maybe 50 years from where we were at, and he ended up wrecking his Viper one time. And I told him, I said, you need to go to like a Bob Bondurant or something and really learn how to handle your vehicle. You've got a Dodge Viper. It's engineered to be a trackable car, so it's a good car, but you need to learn how to manipulate it and drive it, and what not to do and what to do. And next time I saw him after he went to that, he thanked me, and he's like, you cannot believe how much stuff I learned, and how much stuff what I thought was the right way to do it was totally wrong way of doing it. So it's just really good things to do. It's fun running your car or doing a class session with a school's car, but learning the dynamics. A lot of times those Bondurant deals or other ones like that will do skid pad testing where they can actually take some of the weight off the drive wheels or the turn wheels, so you lose. So it's purposely losing control, so you can learn how to control the car when you're out of control. And those are great things to do. And those are, a school like that is really good if you have kids. that are coming up, because you don't want them to get into a panic situation and not know what to do. You go to a school like that, you learn about the car losing control and what procedures to do to correct it, and then it becomes, you don't even have to think about it. If you get into a situation, you know what to do, and it might save your life one day. So, anyway, that's all I got to say about that stuff. But Scott had a great time, and hope we're going to do some more of that. So, like I was saying earlier, with all the rain we've had lately, I wasn't able to work on the Allnick, so I've been working on the Cup Car. So I got some people who are coming out to see it, and I wanted to. After Darlington, the car was basically set up for circle track. I had it balanced for autocross, but I took all that stuff out and redid it all for Darlington. I really probably didn't need to do that. Our speeds weren't that high, but I did it. So now I'm actually really pushing forward to get this car set up for full-on road course racing. So one of the things you want to do, like I said, around the 70 area of our podcast here, we talked about chassis dynamics. So when you're working on a car that turns, you've got your front weight, your rear weight, and then you've got wedge. And what your wedge is going to be is like right front, left rear, or vice versa. So it's you got the weight of your front wheels, you got the weight of your rear wheels, but you also need weight on the X of the car. And that's going to help determine how the car will corner. Obviously, if you're circle track racing and you're turning left, you want a lot of left side weight, and you want a lot of positive cross weight. So your right front wheel and your left rear wheel will have the most weight on those two wheels, and that way the car will pitch around that area, and it makes the car turn the corner much better. Now, a Cup car being made for left turn racing, that's how they're set up. So to make a stock car or any car a good road race car, now you need to put balance in the car. In circle track racing, you are forcing the car to be the best it can be for one thing: left-hand turn. For road racing or autocross, both of them are very similar. Now you need balance. The car has to be good left, it has to be good right. So it's not going to be optimum on either one, but you want to make it as good as possible. So, excuse me. I got a sneeze coming. So we need to make the weights left and right as close as we can to the same, and we're going to make the cross weights as neutral as we can. So ideally, we want 50% weight on the front wheels, 50% weight on the rear wheels, 50% of vehicle weight on the left, 50% on the right, which then the cross weights will be the same too. They will be all 50%. Now all four corners have the same amount of weight on them, and that will make the dynamics of the car work well left and right. It won't be optimum for left or right, but it'll be equal for left and right. So to do that, being in either a drag car or a stock car or any car, basically, when you have a driver in the driver's seat, left-hand drive, the left side of the car is always going to be heavier. So when you're building a performance car and you want to do some track events and stuff, like I'm going to be doing with the VetHawk, while I'm building that car, I'm going to put as much components on the right-hand side of the car to counteract my driver weight. So that's basically what I've been working on the NASCAR. The spring rates are all square. So we have 1100s in the front, we have 225s in the rear. So we're balanced as far as that goes. So things to do, if it was a dry sump car, then you would move the dry sump tank to the right-hand side of the car. Right now it sits behind the driver's side, right behind the driver's seat. My car has a wet sump engine, so it's just an empty shell. We don't have to worry about that. the battery box sits right in front of the left rear wheel, as close to the outer door skin as possible. It's outside of the roll cage of the car. So that's 40 something pounds, and it's close, you know, all the way to the left and all the way to the back, closest to the back seat or back tire. So obviously we want to move the battery box to the passenger side. And then Cup cars, well, pretty much all stock cars are usually have places to put lead ballast. So the cars are lightweight, and then you have to put ballast in them to make them the official weight that the car needs to be to run in an event. So obviously on a stock car, left-hand turn car, it has two rails on the driver's side, the outer rails that go along the floor. They're open and you can put lead weight in them, but they do put one of those rails on the passenger side. So let me go ahead and play this little. This is a little clip of the video that'll be in the next Cup car video, but I just kind of show you where we're at with the thing. So let me cue this up. Now I thought I had pictures of the box, the material, and the hole cut out in the car before I started doing it, but today I was trying to find all the videos, and I don't know if I deleted them or if I put them in another file, so I don't have those to show you, but let me show you what I do have. So here's the half-inch square tubing, and there's the battery box that we're building. Extra thick material to make it collision proof so we don't damage the battery. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this stuff up and get it ready to put in the car. All right, so after a little bit of welding, this is it. Our battery box for the Cup car. Now we'll clean it up a little bit, get it prepped, and get it in the car and weld it in. Here's our test fit. Got it in the passenger side there where it belongs. There's a fitment inside the car. Get some color on there, get some welding in there. We'll have this thing wrapped up. So there's our battery box on the passenger side. It's all welded in and everything. Just have to finish a couple panels and do a little paint on the inside and then make the exterior cover. But that's all, basically it's all done. So there's the battery box all built in, battery in. Go ahead and put the plate on and we'll better put it back on the ground. All right, there's the battery box all finalized with the lid shut, cables all connected. So another thing checked off the list. So it's kind of patched up because I don't have all the videos I had, but basically I mimicked the driver's side. I had a video of that, but I don't know what happened to it. But actually, if you look at this picture right here, this box right here is the same box that's on the other side, and that's where the battery was in the car. So made an identical battery box to what was in the car on the driver's side. We made one in the passenger side. I used all the same materials that they used. And in fact, I would have normally fully welded all that stuff instead of doing all those spot welds, but that is how this car was put together. All the floorboards, everything that's all the sheet metal spots, instead of being fully welded, they used little tack welds about every half-inch or quarter-inch from each other all the way around. So that's why I did the welds like the way I did with the half-inch tubing as the edge moldings, and then the plate mounted with the 1/4-20 Allen button head Allen screws. It's all exactly the same way. the battery box was on the driver's side. Couple things I didn't get on film is I put some rubber padding and glued it to the floor and the side panels and stuff, so the battery is kind of set up for vibration dampening. And of course, the battery box is designed for that group 48 battery, so you can take one off the shelf. It's going to fit right in, and it's going to fit nice and snug. You don't have to worry about putting any mounting hardware in it to hold it, and it'll do its job. And of course, you can see we ran the battery cables and stuff over at the end of the video. So that battery is with the battery box is almost 50 pounds. So that's going to definitely add weight. And of course, if you saw in the video, I showed a little AccuSump on the floor. That is another 15, 18 pounds. Let me pull back up here. There was a spot where you could see that's not a good spot. Let me get this other one where you can see where the channel is, where the lead went in. Thought I had a spot there. So it's not a color. The lighting isn't very good, but right here is a 3x4, 2x4, excuse me, box frame rail that goes all the way front to back in the car, and you can see that there's a couple of chunks of lead. So what I did was I went ahead and used a mold and made lead ingots. That's what I was trying to think of, the word ingots. So it worked out great. The ingots stacked too high are the same size as the frame rail, so they fit in there very snugly. And then if you look here, now you can see there's a plate with 2 bolts in it. So that plate covers that piece so the lead can't fall out. Now, I've got 110 pounds of lead in that frame rail. And then in the front side, because the lead is more towards the back, I've got a piece of exhaust tubing that fills the rest of the area so the lead can't shift. But that's going to do really well for counteracting the driver's weight. So the battery box and the lead is on the outside of the frame rail, so it's as close to the outside of the car as allowable, basically. So if you look in the driver's side, the driver's seat is actually more towards the center of the left hand of the hump. So you got your door skin and you got your transmission tunnel, and the seat is in the middle. So basically 190 to 210 pound driver in that position, going to the other side, having the 165 pounds, I think is total, farther out, will about accompany the same amount of ballast. So basically, when we're all done, we should have a 50-50 on the on left to right side weight. So that'll be really good. I don't have it on scale, haven't put on scales yet, but that's something we're gonna do soon. So keep getting more stuff done on the car, and then we'll be able to get to it. So the other thing, we worked on the getting a new transmission in the car. Obviously, if you guys watched the videos from Darlington, the car got stuck in second gear with the Sagnol transmission, and I wasn't able to do much about it. So I have the Tghis Racing T101A, which is a dog box 4-speed with gears that you can change the ratios on all 4 gears. I had the transmission built, but it wasn't installed yet. And when I did install it, I found a couple of things. So it actually was a good thing I didn't try to mount it in a hurry, because it didn't fit initially. So let me cue this up as a little video on this. Some of the pictures may be the same as what I showed last week, but this is kind of a whole thing. So There's the lightweight flywheel, all ready to go back together. Oh, it's not playing. There we go. So that's the flywheel. It's lightweight, ACT flywheel. There's the transmission. It's got an oil pump here with an oil line that goes to a thing, to a feeder. This is the shifter location that was originally in the transmission as I purchased it. I found out it would not fit, so I had to create a new shift mount. And you can see it moves the shifter pretty far forward. And there's showing where it's not going to fit with the old shifter, but it's installed. So there's the new shifter mount with the shifter installed. So what we have to do now is measure for our shift rods, shift linkage. There's the shifter, it's in the center of the boot. There's our alignment pin, so we get the proper alignment. The new drive shaft is in. So that's all good. We're ready to go now. So we'll get the shifter linkage done and trans will be finished. All right, so all the linkage is all hooked up, and now the transmission is complete. So it's all set, ready to go. Drive shaft's in. Now we just gotta go ahead and set the alignment up and corner balance. That's next. Yeah, so that's the transmission installed. I don't remember if I got it in the video, but the Tghis Racing transmission is about an inch longer than the Sagnol. Of course, it has a turbo 400 output, 32 spline output. So the drive shaft was too long for the Sagnol trans, and rather than cutting the drive shaft, which we talked a little bit about last week, I decided to have a whole new shaft built. That way, the Sagnol unit and the other drive shaft are still a good backup for the next owner. So, you know, if you go to the track and you happen to break the race unit, and you know you're a long ways from home and you can't find the parts to fix it, you can always put the Sagnol unit back in the car and still finish the event weekend. It may not be the fastest setup, but at least you'll be able to enjoy the car and have a good time, and you know, finish the weekend out and stuff like that. So that worked out real well. I did end up having to make a modification to the original shifter shift stick to get it to fit. The Tghis Racing came with a pretty short throw, but it was a straight up and down, and in the driver seating position it was too far away. It was pretty uncomfortable. So I do have that, I think, in the radiator video, but yeah, so I had to modify the shifter for that, and that all seems to come out real well. I haven't really moved the car around in the shop by motor, but I haven't actually driven it yet to see how nice the transmission shifts and stuff. But so far so good. It feels good. New shift linkage all worked out well, so that's all a good thing. Another thing I needed to work on was one, again, if you watched the Darlington video, you saw the car got real hot. So the radiator that came in the car, which was signed Alan Kowicki 92, obviously that radiator's been around a minute, and who knows how well the flow is in the radiator, if it's partially blocked or anything like that. And it was a kind of a small radiator. It only had dual 1-inch tubes in it. So and the fins are kind of, even though they have a screen in front, some of the fins are kind of bent, so airflow across it's not the greatest, and so it wasn't going to work well for on the road track. It worked fine for autocross, but it's not. So I went ahead and shopped around and I purchased some other stuff from this guy in Georgia who seems to sell a lot of NASCAR parts, and he had a great CNR radiator that was tested and everything, and so I purchased that, and so that's another thing I have to get put in the car. So again, I kind of made a little video on that, And so let me go ahead and cue that up, and we can watch that. So this is the radiator I purchased. Go ahead and show you that video. So a nice CNR radiator out of a more later model race car. All right, so next up on the NASCAR Cup Car rebuild, we got a new to us used CNR radiator. Been flow tested, it flows good, pressure tested, pressures are good. Now on this radiator, you'll notice there is no radiator cap. This is a closed system radiator, and if you look down in there, this radiator has split 1.5 2. So I couldn't get a good shot of the core tubes, but again, 20-30 episodes back we did an episode on cooling system, and so here's how different high performance radiators are constructed. And this is a 1-inch tube here, and that would be similar to what is in the original radiator that's in the Cup Car when I purchased it. These two tubes here are how that new radiator is. So it's actually 1.5 inch tube across sectionally, but they put a little divider there to keep the tube from collapsing. So it's basically 2 3/4 inch sections, and that new radiator has 2 rows of it. So it's a 4-inch core and big, huge tubes in it. And it is a cross flow radiator, so it's going to, you're going to get a lot of cooling out of that. So this should do the job. I just wanted to show you that so you could understand. I know you couldn't see the picture inside the radiator very well. Tubes, 1.5 inch each one, split. So that's 3/4, 3/4. So basically like a 4-core radiator, but 3/4 inch width tubes. And of course, CNR uses a really good fin count. It's going to do a way better job of heat transfer, which is what the radiator is, a heat exchanger. So that'll be a big upgrade from the radiator that's in the car now. And this neck up here, that is to go to our expansion tank. So we need an expansion tank to run this radiator. So you have to have a place to be able to put your coolant in. That's what this is here. So we have our 4-inch box. We have our mounting plate. It's going to go on basically like that, so it has a way to bolt to the firewall. We have a cap that's going to be on. That's going to go on there like that, and then we have our base with our exit line. This line will go to that line on the radiator, and that's how the radiator will fill. Now this side we have a cap that screws on. That's so you can purge all the air out of it. So that's going to work out really good. Okay, surge tank is finished. It's a quart and a half. Got our -8 in the bottom, mounting plate on the back, filler cap in the front. I put it up in the corner so you can get to it when it's mounted on the firewall. So that's ready to go in the car. Welds came out pretty good. Not my best work, but if you guys remember on one of my live shows, episode 103, the Heliarc sync wave is stuck and it needs to be repaired. So I just welded it with what I had. Anyhow, also made a new shifter for the car. So we had to shorten it and get it offset, and then we did a multi-pass weld to make sure that it's not going to snap off, and it's all good to go now. So next thing is to get the radiator mounted in the car. Yeah, so that's the radiator, the expansion tank. So the reason for the expansion tank, obviously, just like I said in the video, there's no way of putting coolant into the radiator itself. You can take the red cap off and fill it, but you can't can't it needs a place for a pressure cap and all that. So that's why you use an expansion tank. And again, that's going to work out good. We're going to mount the expansion tank on the right side of the firewall, closest to the hood hinge, so it's more weight on the right hand side of the car. So it all works out well. That's what we're trying to do. All those things we're trying to achieve. So with the expansion tank, that'll be higher than the radiator. It'll have a dash 8 line going from the tank to the radiator. We'll fill the cooling system, which will, through that red cap, that'll fill the radiator and fill the engine block. And then we'll put about half of a quart of water in the expansion tank, and we'll leave a large section of that tank for expansion. So the whole idea is it's higher than the radiator, so the radiator will always be full of water, but as the coolant or water or whatever expands from heat, it'll have a section in that tank where it can expand but not build up too much pressure to blow out the overflow vent. So that way the car can get pretty darn hot and still not lose any coolant. And that way, if it can cool back off again, say you're on a road course and you're drafting a guy real close, trying to get around him, you might start building up some heat because now you're blocking the air going through the radiator core. So if on a normal radiator with no expansion tank, what'll happen is it'll start building up. Once it fills all the capacity, there's no more room for air, or the air is gone, then the cooling system starts building pressure. Once it exceeds the cap pressure, then that's going to make the cap vent, and then you're going to lose coolant. So with an expansion tank, as the coolant expands from the heat, it'll fill that empty chamber that's in the expansion tank and possibly never even get to the point where it will come out of the vent. And then once you get in clean air again and the radiator cools down, all the cooling, everything will go back to normal and everything will be great. So it's a really good way of doing a performance cooling system. You don't see it. Well, your newer cars have it now because they have an expansion tank or a reservoir tank that the pressure cap is on that. It's basically the same thing. They're using that as an expansion tank. So if you look at your expansion tanks, you don't fill them all the way to the top. There's always a little air pocket at the top for expansion. That's why why it's called expansion tank. So that'll work out real well. Get that in place. I just got to make a couple of tabs for the radiator to fit the old mounts, and I need to build a fan shroud for it. So that's just about ready to go in the car. So that's going to be real good. Hopefully, being the larger capacity, this radiator is basically going to be 1.5 times bigger than the radiator was in the car originally as far as core size and core volume. So I think that's going to cure any overheating that the car has had, and it'd just be another thing to check off the list. So that'll be really good. So the last thing that there's a couple things that still need to be done in the car, but alignment and corner balance, and I got a new window net I need to put in, and I need to update the fire bottle. The fire bottle is obviously expired in this car, so it needs a current fire bottle to be legal for racing. But the other thing that's very important to think about on any kind of car is your brake system and the temperatures that the brakes will build. So even on your street car, I know a lot of guys, if you've seen a 67 Camaro that was on convertible that was on the channel. I probably put a video about a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago. My buddy loved these solid old school rims that he had on them. We kind of nicknamed it the woofer wheel because it looked like a woofer speaker, a big, huge black shaped. It looked like a speaker. Anyway, I told him, because he started doing some more, kept picking up more and more performance driving with the car, and I was warning him. I said, your rims are not allowing any air to get to the brakes. So whatever's under the car will get through the brake rotors and go help aid cooling, but you have nowhere in the wheel to vent any air out. So it's a thing to think about when you're building your car. What kind of wheel am I going to put on the car? What kind of does it have any holes in it? Is there a way for heat to escape the rotors to keep brakes in a comfortable temperature range? If you overheat the brakes, then you can boil the fluid, then you'll lose your brakes. So you want to always make sure you keep that in mind. There's you can go from brake manufacturers. They make temperature stickers, or you can get paint in different colors. You can paint the edges of the rotor and then drive the car and test it however you're going to use the car, and you can pull the wheels off and see what colors of the paint disappeared, and that'll tell you how hot the rotors are getting, and then that'll tell you whether you got proper ventilation or not for your brakes. In racing, especially in road racing and circle track racing on short tracks, brake ducts are a big thing. It's huge in road racing. Autocross, not so much, because you're not really on track long enough to even build up any heat in the brakes. In fact, that's a common problem where guys want to run their car around the parking lot, building up heat, so when they take off on the starting line of an autocross, the brakes have enough temp to work for that first brake stop. So you don't have to worry about duct work too much for there. But for racing on ovals or on a road course where you're going to be doing a lot of braking, a lot of high-speed braking, you definitely want brake ventilation. So that's the next thing we have to do. Being the Cup car was originally a show car, they basically set it up as a super speedway car. So, and like tracks like Daytona, I'm sure if anybody's watched any of the NASCAR races, tracks like Daytona, Talladega, and now even Atlanta, and there's a couple other tracks now that they're getting to the point now where they don't need to use the brakes to get around the racetrack. So on those cars, they will not put brake ducts, because now that the duct is hindering the aerodynamics of the car. You can gain speed by having better aerodynamics. But on any track that you're going to be using the brakes, you're going to need ventilation. And the shorter the track, the more the brakes you're going to use. Or like I said, on a road course track, or maybe a hill climb or something like that, you're going to be using a lot of brakes, so you need a lot of vent on there. So that's the next project that I'm tackling on the Cup car. And I got a little, what happened to that? That's not what I wanted to do. I gotta see what I do with that video. Let me see what I did with that. Okay. I put the brake build in a file. Now I don't know what file I put it in. Let me see if I can do a search. So yes, that's the next thing I'm working on. I kind of talk you through it while I'm looking for the pictures. Well, yeah, we getting brake ducts for the front of the car so that we have. Well, I'll just show you this video. I had one made, but I don't know where it's at. So we'll go to this one. All right, so the next thing we have to work on is front brake ducts. Got to have front brake ducts to keep the brakes cool when you're road racing. So we have these nice plastic 2-exit brake ducts. They got a nice curvature in them. It'll match the front of the car. And so what I've done is got some red oak, and we've cut out our piece. That's going to be our template for cutting out the front valance, and also going to be our stamping mold for our stainless mesh. So red oak is the hardest thing I could find in the local home improvement store, so hopefully it's going to be strong enough to do the work. But this will be our stamping die. And this will be the mold. We're going to cut this out, and we're going to put a radius on this and a radius on this for the to make the stamping die. And this is the stainless mesh we're going to use. So when we get everything all radius, we'll put that stamping die on top of it, and we'll put it in a press and press it, and we'll have a formed stainless wire mesh that will flush out the front valance, and should look really good. So that's the next job we got to get done on this thing. So I see Chris is on. Hey Chris, yeah, a little scary not having brakes. You're right. When you overheat your brakes, that is a time that you may have to put a fresh pair of drawers on. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll use a template to cut the aluminum panel in the front of the valance of the car, and then we'll radius those two pieces of hardwood and then put them in a press, and it's actually going to make the screen a shape, nice round edges and everything. Then what we'll do is the plastic duct and the screen will be mounted on the back side of the valance, and the screen mesh will come through the valance, and it'll have a nice formed fitted mesh pocket there. So of course the mesh keeps chunks of rubber and rock and debris from getting into the brakes. And then we're going to run hoses over to the spindles. So at first I'm just going to run the hoses over, but eventually it's going to need a shroud made that goes between the rotor and the spindle, and it'll have an outlet that the hose will connect to. And that way it's forcing all the air that's hitting the front of the car is forced through those vents, up the hoses, and then into the center of the rotor. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the way the rotors are designed, that's why there's a direction on your performance rotors, is they're made so that when they're spinning in the correct direction, they're sucking air from the hub and they're blowing it out into the wheel. Again, this is why it's important to have wheels that have ventilation holes in it, because now the rotor is working like a squirrel cage fan. It's sucking air in the center and blowing it out the outside of the fins. So if you have nowhere for that air to go, you're going to get a buildup of heat. So that's the next step on there. Work on that probably on this weekend. I see Bill says best show to date. Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I just, there's been some videos. If you guys are big YouTubers, you'll see there's, and of course I follow a lot of cup stuff because I have a cup car and I'm trying to convert it into a road course car, so it's something that somebody can use still rather than sitting in a warehouse and not being used or anything. But people are talking about how people loosely use the term road race ready car, and 90% of the time they're not road race ready at all. It's just they're saying, hey, you can road race it, so yeah, it's road race ready, but it's not really prepped at all. So that's what we're trying to do with this. I wanted to sell the car. I've advertised it as road race ready, and it will be road race ready. I've prepared many cars in different classes for road racing, and so I don't know all of the in and outs of maybe a NASCAR, but I know the basics and more on what a road course car needs. We've ran, back in the day, we ran an ITA Volkswagen Golf, and I mean, we set track records and qualifying records everywhere we went with that car. So I know a little thing about it. I'm not going to say I know everything, but I definitely know some stuff. So Rick says, good stuff. Yeah, thank you, Rick. So the only last thing I had to do, and I was in this video, but it wasn't set up right, and this is very short because I didn't catch it right. But that's what happens. You're working in the shop and you're like, oh, I need to get a video of this. And and I'm, like I said in past, I'm doing everything, the videos, the building, the construction, everything. So, but for a legal road race car, you have to have a tow strap on the car. So that's something you see people advertising road race prep cars, and there's no tow strap. So right away no, it's not. But anyway, this will be the last little nugget for tonight. But here's the tow strap that I've installed. So right above the bumper framework, there's a bumper reinforcement behind here. I put a small slot in the fiberglass body, and then we put this nylon strap in there that's made for towing the car. So if you get stuck in a sand trap or something like that, the safety guys can hook up the car and tow it out. Now, right below here, in this area here, this big piece of aluminum here, this is where that brake duct is going to go, one on each side. So you can see on the screen for the radiator that they're flushed out. Now, those were made when they put the car together. Now, being that I don't want to take all this components off of the front valance, drill out all those rivets. Then you got rivets that are wallered out and won't go back together right. So that's why we're doing the formed stainless. So the formed stainless will fit behind the fiberglass, come through the fiberglass and the aluminum, and then have a nice flushed out finish when it's all done. But here's the video of the window net or the tow strap. It's very short. Got the Race Quip tow strap hooked up, mounted to the frame rail, good to go. Radiator and brake ducts are next. So you can see we had tied to the frame, and it's kind of set up like a seatbelt material, so you can adjust it to the length you have. It's hooked to the main part of the frame. I made it as level as I could. Obviously, you can't make it perfect. Hopefully, the future owner will never need to use it, so won't have to worry about any damage to the front valance if they got to pull it from an angle or anything like that. But it does have the strap, so it is legal to go. So that's we pretty much got that car. It's getting real close to being set up. If it comes to a point where the car is not sold and there's a chin or Hooked on Speed or one of these other club events, then I will be taking the car out and putting it through its paces. So we'll see how that all goes. I've got a couple friends that are SCCA amateur / pro racers, and a couple of them have already said they'd be more than happy obviously to take the car around the track. Everybody wants to drive a cup car, so but like both of my buddy Pat Utt, who we've gone to Sebring, watched him run Trans Am 2, and my other friend Kevin Wheeler, they both have raced dog box transmissions, so I mean they know how to run the components that this car has in it. So I could drive it too. I've done a lot of circle track and road racing, albeit it's been quite a while since I've done it, but I haven't driven a car with a dog box transmission in it. That's pretty much the only thing that's really different in this car right now than any of the other cars I've driven. So, but we'll get the brake ducts done, get the radiator put in next week or so, and I got alignment right now for alignment shims. It's just got loose shims, so I've got solid billet alignment blocks coming, so that that way if the A-arm was to come loose from the frame, you wouldn't have a bunch of shims falling out and then the wheel flopping around. With a solid billet plate, both bolts would have to come loose for it to come out, which is nearly impossible for that to happen. So it's just a better way of doing it. And again, we're trying to set the car up to be legit road course, so that's why we're going these extra mile. Just like the car has custom valved shocks in it that are set up for road course. We are making this a legit road course car. So that's all the updates for that. I'm gonna work on Leo's cylinder head this week, try to get that done. Like I said, fingers crossed, if we can duck the rain tomorrow, we should have the all-neck truck running. So we'll definitely get some video on that. And that thing's getting really close to delivering it to the body shop so they can put the front sheet metal back on and do some rust repair that needs to be done in the passenger side door post. And then that thing will be ready to haul some cars around. Would love to have it to take to LS Fest in September, but I have a feeling that the body shop will not be done with it. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't end up in body shop jail for a long time. And then of course we got the Smurf. We're going to start getting going on that thing. Hopefully within the next couple weeks we can get out to the track and get some testing done on that thing and get ready to start running the car again. We've kind of missed the first half of the season with that. So that's kind of the updates for the show. I wasn't able to really get any technical stuff in there for you, but we'll try to get something more next week. But, always good to get project updates, let you guys see what's going on. And one of the reasons why I didn't have anything set up for technical is because I've been really busy in the shop. So I appreciate everybody coming out, taking a look at what's going on, listen to me talk about all these projects, and hopefully you can pick up some stuff from what's going on. And, we'll keep plugging away. Remember, hit the like button, helps with the algorithm. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost nothing. You're not going to get junk mail in your inbox or anything like that. It just will give you YouTube will give you a notification when I post something new, whether it be another podcast live show or shorts or some long-term video, long time trim video, which is something I need to get back on. I just noticed it. I haven't put a long video out in a couple, almost 2 months. So we need to get that done. And so we'll go from there. So with that, I really appreciate everybody coming out and watching. Thank you. See you all next Tuesday. And have a great week. See you later. See you.